Hi, it's Bob with Royal Capital Management. A couple of things happened over the last couple of weeks that made me think back to a video that I posted just a few weeks ago. It was the one about lifestyle financial planning, and you can find a link to it in the transcription of this video. If you haven't seen it yet, please go take a look because it's going to help put this video in the proper context. Now, in that video, I talked about how life is not a rehearsal and that precious time is slipping away from us every day. And I use my hands to illustrate how most of us go through life. Here we are today, and here's the end of our life, and we kind of go through life like this. We'll retire someday, we'll travel someday, we'll spend more time with the family someday. But we know that that's really not the way that it works. In fact, it works this way. Every day we're getting closer and closer to the end. And I talked about how planning can be difficult because we never know when this time is going to come. And the moral of my story was that we needed to live our lives in such a way that when we do get to the end, we have as few regrets as possible. So, back to what happened this week. First, I learned that a high school classmate of mine suffered a heart attack and died suddenly. Now, we hadn't been in contact for a number of years, but I'm sure he wasn't aware how close he was to the end of his life, so I can only hope that he had been living the life that he wanted to. The second thing that happened hit a lot closer to home for me. A very good friend of mine was in a terrible cycling accident. Now, although he was wearing a safety helmet, and I'm sure it helped, he still suffered a traumatic brain injury. The paramedics say that he passed away twice on the way to the hospital, but they were able to revive him. He went in for several hours of emergency surgery to reduce the pressure on his brain, and they did that by removing part of his skull. He had several broken bones, and he's already had a couple of surgeries to fix the more serious ones. His family and friends weren't even sure that he was going to survive, and while he's not completely out of the woods yet, he has stabilized. But in 1 second, his life and the life of his loved ones completely changed. And I know that he didn't realize how close to the end he might have been. Well, now the morning after my friend's accident, my wife and I went to our normal workout at our gym. And during the workout, like most places, our coaches play loud music to keep us motivated and grinding through our workout. Now, I'm going to show my age a little bit with this, but one of my favorite songs played during that morning's workout, and the lyrics really hit home for me. The song is I Just Want to Celebrate by the rock group Rare Earth. Now, if you're old enough to remember that song, you might remember the lyrics. I won't try to sing it for you, but basically they say, I just want to celebrate another day of living. I just want to celebrate another day of life. After the news from the prior day, those words stood out to me like they never had before. We should celebrate every day and share it with our loved ones. Well, later on in that same song, the lyrics are, I can't be bothered with sorrow, and I can't be bothered with hate. And those words that aren't really associated with my friend's accident, but they seemed especially appropriate in the political climate that we're living in right now. So let's not be bothered by hate. Every day, let's celebrate another day of life. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.